they'll use this as an excuse to do other stuff, while here on our plane. So you have to be very specific. You have to say, I want this done at this time, and then you're going to go away. And you have to be, your instructions have to be as if you were talking to a computer.
That's interesting. Do you think they demand something of the human beings that they that is drawing them up or conjuring them up?
Other than the proper sacrifice at the proper invocations and at the proper time, and that's pretty much what is necessary. And that could be an animal or a person, as for sacrifices.
And so, again, do you think that that's the reason then that we hear so much about, Illuminati, secret society networks, and those people who are deep into the black magic, that they indeed do human sacrifices in order to get access to these demons? Do you think that is the road leads down this path, so to speak? Do you think that that's what we're potentially looking at here?
Well, those particular I don't know what you're asking. Those particular sacrifices are one at a time. You're not going to conjure a demon just because you started a war at the right place and the battle happened at the right time at the right place. It's got to be there for the being to feed on, meaning that as soon as you're there with the sacrifice, the being shows up and he feeds off of the sacrifice and gains strength, and then he cooperates with you.
What do you think in regards to actors then? I mean, there's a lot of explosion, if you will, in terms of Heath Ledger and his death. When was this? Last year now, then, I think. And if we look at the film, the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, I think one of the first scenes, he has a Illuminati pyramid right in his forehead with the eye in the center, and he's hanging from a noose, I think, in one of the opening scenes right there. Do you think that there could be some kind of, how should we put that, connection then between movies, between actors in these films, and potentially then even consequently what happens in their lives? We have, what's her name now again? Another one who died 32 years old over in the States. Forget her name right now, but she died recently too on the winter solstice, I think. Do you think that there's a ritual going on there, a sacrifice there as well?
I don't know, because when somebody dies, I'm fully aware that the Illuminati have a ritual called body transformation, and it requires death. Do I think that Heath Ledger was killed? I'm not really sure. I'm more inclined to believe that he was aware of what was going on.
So an aware actor in this case, and there might be a few of them here and there. I mean, we hear stories about certain actors. What was the connection now between what's her name, Mansfield? I forget her first name. She was allegedly hooking up with
Jane Mansfield.
Yeah, Jane Mansfield. She was hooking up with Anton LaVey and some other people as well in order to bring her career, get a better career, things like this. That they're doing these little things on the side, occult rituals here and there in order to progress their career. Do you think that could be the case as well with many of the modern actors that we have today as well?
Absolutely. In fact, my second major documentary was Dark Stars, in which I talked about that very topic of them using muses and demons to act, because they themselves have no talent, and so they have a demon show up into their body and animates them, and then just waddles off. And it depends on what they want to be: a good actor, a good speech writer, a good musician. So. And as for the bunnies, the Jane Mansfield and the Marilyn Monroes, they could easily have been like mind-controlled slaves, kind of.
Right, exactly. Well, there is that definitely that take on it, and there's other uses as well for these people. There is one book called I think it was called just simply the CIA and Candy Jones, or Candy Jones' use of CIA or something like that, and apparently these mind control victims, who are in many cases actors, in some cases they can even be musicians or what have you as well. They are under such mind control that they don't obviously know what they're doing, but they're actually agents for CIA as well. They're being sent out on missions, and one side of their personality, so to speak, doesn't even remember the other day what this other character of their own mind were doing. They're given specific keywords and things like that in order to snap into their other personality, so to speak. So we have multiple personality disorder, as many people will know, connected with mind control. And in some cases, it seems to be that they're using actors and known people, because that really, how should I put this? It really upsets the situation, because if you end up in a situation where these people are performing, for instance, killings and murders and things like this, it will be absolutely not believed if this ever would end up in the media, if I can put it that way. Therefore, they're the kind of the perfect agent who don't even know that they were an agent. If you follow my train of thought, Michael.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not sure if there's known that they've got people that have compartmentalized minds where there are certain trigger words, and they're not. I don't think they're not demon, but they're not demon possessed. That's just hardcore standard CIA, KGB mind control. Just torture you until they get you to do what they want, subliminal messages and whatever.
Mm-hmm. But you don't think that there's an how should you put it, an active use of demon in terms of how they create a mind control slave, if we look at it from a point of view of CIA or FBI or other agencies that are out there?
No, it appears their manuals for such are relatively straightforward and rely on psychology. It relies on the standard self-preservation and, blocking out certain memories that are a little too much for you, and the standard psychological mechanisms that we all have. It doesn't appear to be anything paranormal.
Okay, well that's very interesting. And why don't we spend our time talking a little bit more about some of the other films as well that you bring up? There's obviously so many that have Illuminati symbolism in them and so forth. But one film that you bring up in terms of connecting this with the whole demon/black magic theory as well is The Day the Earth Stood Still. You kind of have a religious theme in there as well, that you have locusts coming in and destroying everything in the human created world, but leaving nature pristine and fine, as it were. Tell us about that, Michael.
Oh, well, the first time I saw that scene, I knew exactly what I was looking at. I mean, it was just like it was like a 20-30 segment part of a movie that came out of a single line out of the Bible, where, locusts, black smoke appears out of the bottomless pit, which is exactly what happens in the movie. From this black smoke comes locusts, which go around eating everything except things that are natural, which is exactly what happened in the movie. It was very obvious to me that there was just another of their retellings, and that the part where the beings and the smoke actually come out of the bottomless pit, you can actually tell what part of the prophecy and the part of the timeline they're talking about, because it was just so obvious.
And this whole thing was kind of instigated by this basically E.T. or whatever that was coming to Earth. And I think that the locust in this case as well was actually, I think they did a zoom in on it, and it was actually kind of small, tiny nanorobots,
Yeah.
who were breaking basically all the human-created material to dust, pretty much. Just fell apart, everything, right?
Yeah. That's definitely came straight out of the Bible, that's for sure.
But what's your take on the fact that they there's talk about them using nanotechnology? We have this idea of them being able to recreate biblical scenarios, prophecy coming true, but that they can do that with the aid of technology. It doesn't, on one level, I understand, and granted, it doesn't really matter how it happens or of what it happens or what technique, so to speak, that they're using to do it. But there is this idea similar to Project Bluebeam and other things, that they can recreate these prophetic visions that are pinned down from the Bible, but they can do these with the aid of technology. What's your take on that, Michael?
Well, firstly, they do see the biblical prophecies kind of like a checklist of things to do. That's definitely like what they do. However, the locusts that come out of the bottomless pit, they're just being colorful when they call them locusts. They're actually demons. It's a reference to a demonic horde, and so it's not like really literal locusts.